Sorry? You're right. Hi lads, you okay?
How are you?
Yeah, fine, I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hi everyone. So I was going to start with the broadcast section with Sky Sports News, Peter Stevenson, just to let you all know. It'll be a 3-question limit for everybody.
Vincent, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Burnley.
Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Great. Yeah, it's been, believe it or not, hot, so I'm nearly sweating. But no, it's been good. I've been, well received, and I've just been, just blending in quite quickly.
Before we talk football, can we sort the apartment out? Because you and Blackburn Rovers manager were apparently in for the same apartment, were you?
Yeah, I know. This is the first very false rumour that's come out. I just never had to look for an apartment because I've lived in the Northwest before and I've held on to a few things.
So we'll knock that one down then?
Yeah, knock that one down. That was wrong.
No
bad source.
In terms of your workload so far, you've been here, 10 days? A lot of people interested to know how the squad's going to start to look. Can you give us any indication, any confirmed arrivals?
I can tell you we're close to bringing in a few players, but until the medicals have been finalised and contracts are signed, there's nobody that we're bringing in officially today, I think. But in general, yes, we've been close to players, and we've set up a few medicals, and hopefully in next 24 to 48 hours we can start making the first announcements.
And first glimpse yesterday of the fixtures. What do you make of your start?
Yeah, it's a complicated start. Definitely playing against some tough teams and some teams that have been probably tipped for promotion as well. But you start more difficult. You recover a few, games later in the season. That's not bad as well. So we'll see. It'll give us a good idea of where the team is early doors, and maybe that's better as well.
You've only got 5 weeks though. How difficult is it to blend a squad together in 5 weeks?
I think that's the hardest part. How quickly you can turn it around, especially when you've got new players coming in, new ideas as well. And still a little bit of uncertainty because it's like this when a club gets relegated, and that's normal. But in terms of what I've seen the team do on the training pitch and how the team has been able to show the togetherness in the very first days, that's one thing we'll take from the previous seasons into the new season, which should help us.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You've played, Vincent, against Burnley lots of times.
Yeah.
What impressions did you have of the club and the place as a player? And has that changed now you're in here as the manager, kind of seeing things behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's always been an incredibly difficult place to come to, and of course the image you've got is Turf Moor, and it's a place of history and tradition. It's a very I think that's the first feeling you get from it, and then when you get to the other side of it, which is the training ground and this area here, I think it's a good mix. You get to have this very English football type of reminder when you come to the stadium, but then when you go to the training ground, you've got everything you need for a high performance environment. And in that sense, even the people here are of a very high quality.
You've lost Nick Pope, obviously, to Newcastle yesterday.
Yeah.
Other players have left at the end of their contracts. What would your message to supporters be who might be worried about players leaving? I know you've talked about potentially players coming in. Is this part and parcel of football? Is it just kind of necessary? Does it always happen?
Well, I think it goes with the potential drop in revenues when you fall out of the Premier League. And you always have to expect that some of your valuable players do need to move on, not because it's good for them, but also good for the club. But it's a team with some experienced players, some depth in quality as well. Certainly for the Championship, and it's a few players that also earned the right probably to move on. And from our side, we wish them well, and we're looking forward to bringing some exciting players in, yeah.
And financially speaking, does your ability to bring players in, buy players, sign players, kind of hinge on those departures and those bigger earners going out and generating some revenue?
Not necessarily not necessarily. I think there are, of course, there's still a few, there's players who just attract interest. So it's no secret that we kind of expect that maybe something will have to happen there. But there's no rush. We've been able to negotiate and hopefully we'll be close to complete on a few players without the need to look at immediately to those sales. But there's also a reality of the squad. We've got let's say an experienced squad, and I think if we are to turn a financial corner, I think it's important for us to just have balance in the squad. A mix of players who grow in value and, like I say, exciting players as well, not just for that reason, but also for the football they can give us. And then a mix between those players who hold that culture together and what has made Burnley special over the years. And, yeah.
And before I get shot for the fourth question, what's the brief, what's the aim, what's the chairman said to you that you need to be achieving?
We've had very... See, I would love to give like a very simple, short answer, but the reality is it really happened over a period of time that, I was not in a need to go and look for another club. I had different options, so I was not in a need to come to Burnley specifically either. And we just started talking, mid-term, long-term, short-term, talking about the problems that the club was facing in the short term, talking about the opportunities, and it's just how open that the chairman, the ownership, and other people within the club were to me that convinced me to come to the club. So I can tell you the short answer, which is the ambition is always, as you come down, to go back up. But the reality is that if it doesn't happen, I think we're in a very calm position because we know what to do with the debt. We know how to create value. We know how to grow the club. And if you look at some of the best examples in the Premier League, and name me the best examples of well-run small clubs in the Premier League. No, it's a question to you, like putting you on the spot.
Well, traditionally Burnley have been one of those.
Yeah, exactly. We've been, but it's a transition period. So now it's about how we get back there. So you'll name most likely the Brentfords of this world and the Brightons of this world, and these clubs didn't just go and make a big statement, let's go Premier League, and it jumped in from one year to another. It's about the recruitment you do. It's about the players. How you develop the players, and then it's not rocket science. The hardest part about football is just keeping people calm. That's the rest of it. It's mostly, steering a course that's clear.
Doing my best to stay calm. Thank you.
I'll remind you of that.
Hi, Vincent. Just sort of following on from that, what sort of was the nature of your conversations with the chairman when you were deciding to come here? How much of a role did he have to play? And are you sort of on a shared path in how you see the future of the club? Yeah, so I met, I think, 4 or 5 people before even committing. And there was a consistency in what they were saying. There was extreme transparency. And we spoke about solving the problems that the club has on a short term with bringing in football solutions. And that for me, and look, I'm still a young manager, and you come into, and I'm trying to explain you from my side, you come into the other side of the game, and when you used to be a player, you score a few goals, you have a few good performances, and you get to make choices for money or choices for trophies, and if you're lucky, you get both. But when you're a manager, it's different. You rely so much on people around you. You rely so much on the time to work and develop and show the work you do, and so you have a choice between different pathways. I could go one pathway where you hop from one club to the other and hope that you reach the Holy Grail, because you've just landed in the right squads, or you try and find people that you think, and that was my take on it. I thought that the level of transparency, the way that we discuss short term, mid term, long term, it's not.
like I said, it's not rocket science. It's like any other thing in life. Is if you apply yourself and you bring then you get the necessary time. And my contract reflects that. I'm here I've signed 4 to 5 year contract, and I'm patient. I'm not looking to hop from one club to the other. I'm happy to be here at Burnley for the long term if needed be, and I'm prepared for any scenario.
You'll have found probably in your managerial experience already, and you'll certainly find it this summer, that everybody wants 5 signings a day between now and the start of the season.
Yeah.
How sort of big a job do you see in terms of perhaps number of players coming in, and are there sort of any specific positions you feel needed to address urgently?
Yeah, I mean, talking about specifics, look, I think there's still some positions who are pending on potential exits or not. So in case there's a bid that an offer for a player that we cannot refuse, the way we work at least towards it is that we activate a lot of options that we have, a lot of players that we've recruited. We've got a recruitment staff who's going through hundreds of players a day, I reckon. And we're making sure we get a lot of eyes on it, and we're making sure we get a lot of information on every player we get. And then if we have to bring in a position, it can be any position. We'll be ready to hopefully bring in a player that is able to be a success for the club. Yeah.
And last one for me, retaining players obviously crucial as well. Nathan Collins is a player who sort of emerged last season and took his chance really well in the Premier League. He's been linked with a lot of Premier League clubs. Have you had a chance to speak to him and the other international lads, and are you confident that him in particular will stay at Burnley next season?
Yeah, no, I made a point out of it to just leave the players have their holidays, and when you call players and they're on holidays, you say half a word and they've got nothing else to do with their days than to talk about it with the parents, with the agent, and they turn the word into 10 different things by the end of the day, especially after a corona at the pool. So I try to just limit my time where I'm going to speak to the players when they're in the building, when they see the work we do, when they can feel that they're developing, that they're progressing. And then it's like with everything, we can have a conversation about anyone's future in the squad, literally anyone. But if there's a club, we'll have a discussion. If there's no club, move on and play and improve and be the best you can be.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks everyone, that's the end of the broadcast section, so please can all